The most common question I probably get asked as a press-on nail artist is, how do I find out my nail sizes? So in this video, I'm breaking down the most common sizing methods, which ones I use for my clients and which ones I do not, even though they are very popular. Okay, let's get right into it. So the number one most accurate way to size your nails is a sizing kit. I'm first gonna show you how I make them. So in this video, I'm making the sizing kit for a long stiletto and for long coffin. All you have to do is lay out each nail tip size on your sizing kit. I do make the sizing kit template myself, but I also do sell them, so I will link that down below. And you're gonna add the corresponding numbers to each nail tip. Now let me walk you through the ordering process and what to do when you finally get them, and how to start ordering your sets once they finally get to you. I sell each sizing kit on my website. I will link it down below, but all you have to do is order each desired length and shape that you would like, because every length and shape has different sizing. So if, for example, my index finger in long coffin is a 5, it could be a 6 or 7 in long stiletto. So you would have to purchase every single length and shape that you like. And I know it sounds annoying to have to pay a few bucks just to get your sizing, but just think of it as like, would you rather spend $5 on a sizing kit, or would you rather pay 70 to 100 bucks on a set that might not even fit you at the end of the day? Now, what do you do when you have your sizing kit in front of you? Pretty much what I've been doing while the video has been playing. You're going to size every single nail, both left and right, because our hands can have different measurements, and you want to make sure that it's not too big or too small. If you feel like you are in between sizes, then always size up. But as you can see, while the video was playing, I did measure my right hand, so let's do my left. Here on this index finger, you can tell it's a little bit too big, so I do switch it to a 6. And you can tell it was too big because it was overlapping onto my skin, while the 6 fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. And I just repeat this process for every single nail. Like I said, if a nail is too small, you can tell because it will show your nail bed peeking out, or it'll feel like you have to snap it in place. That lets you know that it is too small and you need to size up. And guys, sizing kits are the best option, like I said, when it comes to finding your size. Having the perfect size is really what makes press-ons look like they are a set that you got done at the salon. Now that I've sized all my nails, you can see that my left and my right hand are two different sizes. That's why it's so important to check both hands. And here I'm sizing the long stiletto nails just to show you how different these two sizes can be. My long coffin tips range from 0 through 9, while this one ranges from 1 through 9, and I even have some that range from 0 to 11, so that's why it's important to get each length and shape that you would like. And this one even comes with half sizes. While the video plays in the background, I do also want to talk about how to order once you finally get your sizing kit sizes. Once you're ready to order, you'll just head to my website and pick the set or sets that you'd like, and from there will be a option to pick custom under nail sizes. And there should also be a text box, so you'll just write from left to right your nail tip sizes that you got from your sizing kit. Now I'm finally done with sizing my nail tips for long stiletto, and you can tell the sizes are very different compared to long coffin. But that wraps it up for sizing kits, so let's move on to my second most reliable option, which is measuring your own nail beds by hand. All you need for this is tape, a pen, and somewhere to write down your measurements, and a ruler that has millimeter measurements. I'm starting off by writing down left hand and right hand for both measurements, as well as writing down thumb through pinky to take note of every single nail bed. And how this works is very straightforward. You're just gonna wrap the piece of tape around your nail bed, and with your pen just mark the widest point of your nail so that you can get the measurement from sidewall to sidewall. Next, we're gonna lay it down on the millimeter side of my ruler, and I can see here that it adds up to 16 millimeters. So I just take note of that and repeat the same process for every single finger. And that is it. It is super straightforward. If you feel like your nail bed is in between sizes, again, always size up. Method is probably the second most reliable, but there is room for error. Since millimeters are very small measurements, there is always room to get it wrong, but the measurements for my own finger and when I put on my press-ons, it always adds up to the correct measurements. But again, anyone can make a human error. Also, I feel like this is pretty obvious, but I have had to explain it in the past. But always make sure you're measuring by millimeters. I have had people send me their measurements in centimeters or inches, or they try to convert it from centimeters to millimeters, and it won't work. It's gonna give you this crazy number and it's not gonna make sense. So please make sure to use the correct side of the ruler, but other than that, everything else, like I said, is very self-explanatory. But that's pretty much it, and the ordering process is the same. You would just add your measurements in the text box just like you would with a sizing kit. And these are my measurements. I did take note of my ring size on my right hand because it is an 11.5, but I always just size up to 12. Moving on to the third option that I use for sizing, which is preset sizes. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The sizes range from extra small to large, and it already comes with a fixed set of nail sizes, which I'm writing down here. So for example, an extra small would be 14, 11, 12, 11 or 10, and 8 millimeters. So if you were to order an extra small, you would get that size every time. These are common nail sizes. So for example, I would probably fall mostly to size small, but it would not be a perfect fit. Even though it's not a perfect fit, it is somewhat manageable because it is pretty close to my natural nail bed sizes, but it's not as precise as sizing kits or measuring my own nails would be. I do offer this option since I feel like it's the easiest for people when they order, and it is super common. I think this is the most common method people use when ordering from me, and I've had no problems with it whatsoever. I do think my nail bed sizes are a little bit more uncommon since people usually have their middle finger larger and then their index and ring finger pretty similar, but in my case it's different. It's all the same number. But if you know you have average size nail beds, then this method would work probably fine for you. But yeah, so these are the three options that I offer, and now I'm gonna get into one that I don't offer personally, even though I see it all the time on social media, and I'm gonna show you how to do it and tell you why I don't use it. So this is the coin method. Basically, all you have to do is take a picture of both hands and your thumbs and make sure there is a quarter visible on the screen. The client will send this picture over to the nail artist, and the nail artist just has to get a quarter and align it perfectly with the quarter in the picture, and then from there put the nail tip sizes on top of the nail beds provided. So first, let me give you a quick demonstration on how to do it. Here I'm placing the quarter perfectly so that it could almost imitate the actual size of my hand, and from there you just lay on top the press-on tips. So my index finger I know is a size 6, but I'm gonna try it out with a size 6 and a size 5, and watch how I lay it. You can tell that it's kind of peaking on the sides, so you would think it doesn't fit. You would think a size 6 is too small and then maybe give a size 5 or 5.5, when in reality it's too big. And that's personally why I don't like the coin method. It's just really not as accurate as it should be, because you're not really taking into account the curvature of the natural nail, and there is a lot of space for error, and the mistake does fall back on the press-on artist because you are the one doing the sizing. So the customer trusts you to get their correct sizing, and if they don't, that could be an issue, and you may even have to refund an order due to sizing. And that's just not a risk I'm willing to take. If a customer is really struggling with sizing their own nails, I'll try to urge them to get a sizing kit, but if they want, they could run the risk of doing the coin method. But I rarely ever do this, and I do warn them ahead of time that it is a risk in itself. But of course, if you've been doing this method or want to try this method, then by all means. I'm just sharing what works for me and what doesn't, but that is pretty much it for this video. I hope this helped you guys, whether you are looking to order but don't know how to measure your own nails, or you are a press-on artist who doesn't know how to take customer sizes. I hope this helped you out, and thank you so much for watching.